Hi YouTube, it's Catherine Michelle. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about the latent prints. And what we're looking at here on the page right now is a report. The analyst was Joe Cooksley. And this was lab case and all this other stuff talking about, this is who wrote this. I think this might be Rebecca, I'm not sure. But what labs they would like. They say, hey, Chris, this is planned laboratory testing at this point, latent prints, firearms, and question documents. And as you see, they list a bunch of stuff that they're going to do, what they suggest that they do testing on. And here you see they want to check the knife for latent prints and DNA. And then down at the very bottom, you have possible known handwriting samples, 46 through 48. Now, 46 through 48 are right here. It is the notepad from the refrigerator with possible handwriting from Kamel. That was 46. 47 is note from notepad on refrigerator with possible handwriting from Kamel. And number 48, checkbook from the kitchen with possible handwriting from David. So they took what they possibly knew were their actual handwriting samples. And as you know, there was writing on the wall in blood. And here, this person is suggesting that they actually do handwriting samples. And then you go down here, and this is what Joe feels they should do. And as you notice, 46, 47, and 48 are not part of the list at all. So they took samples of their handwriting and then they don't test it. And this is the latent prints report. There was a reason why I pulled that up, and now I can't remember what it was. So we will have to go back over that. But here we go. And it's like, okay, why would you not test the writing to see if it was actually David's handwriting on the wall? No testing was ever done. And as far as latent prints and David's, whether or not they had a good set here, they said on this little note here, it says that they talked to Marty and Latent Prints, who is their contact. He said he thinks that this can be used for comparison, but if they need the actual card, then they can get that at a later time. So the person who works in the latent print section felt that the photographs or whatever was taken and sent of David's military card was sufficient enough to compare the latent prints. As you know, there was a fingerprint in David's blood on the magazine, and some other prints everywhere else, other places, as we see. Okay, a palm print, a fingerprint, and then of course the results of those, the palm prints, which was okay, so item 1A, which is the pistol. So the gun, they have a latent palm print. 1B, which I believe is the magazine. Yes, the blood on the magazine. And then 54, oh, that's the CD of images. But as you see here, we've done this, I've done a video on this one before, where the it is inconclusive. The prints do not match David. So a limited examination of latent prints in apparent blood from items 41, 41A, and 41A1 through 41A59, which the 41A1 through 41A-59 is the spiral notebook, each page individually. And they took latent prints from page 30 and 31, and they labeled that latent print 41A 30-1 and the latent fingerprint as latent print 41A 31-1. And the latent prints, latent print 1B-2, which is from the magazine, it's inconclusive to David. The one from the notebook, inconclusive to David. And the one on page 31, they say they did identify as David's middle finger. So they have prints, but they don't match David for sure. One does, but the other two don't. And the latent palm print, it says no known palm prints for David Crowley were submitted or found in the BCA files for comparison. However, we don't know if that's a right hand or a left hand. We know David's right hand was missing. His left hand could have been rehydrated. It was in a mummified condition, but they could have rehydrated that to get the prints and get the palm print, but that was not done. And since he was cremated, it can't be done now. So they could have easily ruled out David completely, but they didn't. So that leaves me wondering as to why. And same thing with here. They had taken the samples, the 46, 47, and 8, the notepads and the notes in a checkbook, but then did not do comparison for what the writing on the wall. And I just ask why. Again, so many times, you know, I just don't know. Why would they not do that? And question documents processing. Here they have items 46 through 48, possible known writing samples from David and Kamel, but nothing was done with them. Nothing at all. So there you have it. And there was something else I was going to talk about this, and I can't find it now, and I'm not sure what it was. But, and and I know sometimes people talk about, you know, the gun because they found, it looks like they said hair on the grip of the gun in the blood. And yes, they do talk about taking out and finding hair, swabbing. That's from the Springfield, the gun, the muzzle. Here we go, right here. And this was not tested either. So one manila envelope containing hairs from the gun, and they just kept it in storage, and it looks like it's still in storage, but no testing was done. So we know they have it. We know they could easily test to see if that was human hair, dog hair, and then which dog does it belong to. They can find out if it's consistent at least with the breed of dog that Paleo is, or is it from another dog? Because, you know, the only other all-white dog belonged to Danny August Mason. And yes, Paleo did have some white hair, but not enough to leave the amount of white dog hair found throughout the home. So anyway, that was one of the main things I wanted to talk about and show you, that they did collect their handwriting. So they had their handwriting samples to match with the handwriting on the wall, but it was never sent to a specialist. So to this day, they just assumed David wrote that without proving it.